Buddy.
Nice to see you again. Nice to be again here with you, Lewis.
Very nice. Yeah, the second episode of Shoelosophy. I'm looking really forward.
Yeah, and again we are at the Fagus Works in Alfred, maybe one of the earliest Bauhaus buildings in the world. Probably. And the home of probably the world's largest shoe last archive, which is in the background.
You can see behind us. Yes.
And so thanks again for Fagus for having us here and allowing us to produce Shoelosophy here at the heart of their heritage. And yeah, today a lot of interesting things which will happen. We've prepared some stuff for you guys. But before we speak about today's session, I would like to thank anybody who reached out to us. We got so much feedback. A lot of positive feedback, also a lot of constructive feedback, which will help us to improve the show. So whenever you have an idea, please reach out to us and let us know. Yeah, and today we will speak about a lot of different topics. So Lewis will show us how to properly take care for cordovan shoes.
Of these cordovan boots that have been heavily neglected. So we will look at these and how to treat cordovan leather, quite a special material, and we have a great guest as well. We have our guest today for this episode is Mr. Jesper Ingevaldsson from Sweden. Probably a lot of you already know him. He's the author behind a shoegazing blog. I think probably one of the biggest blogs on classic shoes and quality shoes. Certainly my favorite blog. It's definitely my regular read, and but he also is the creator of events like the Super Trunk Show, where you have the World Championships in shoemaking, in shoe patina, and in shoe shining. So there's really a lot going on there. If you don't know this event yet, or you don't know shoegazing blog yet, I can really recommend you to check that out. And yeah, then obviously there will also be a quiz with Jesper again. We're looking forward to that. And we received a lot of questions from you that we will answer together with Jesper. So shall we get right into it?
Yeah.
Milad? Okay, well, so I've got these shell cordovan boots here today. And as you can see, they have been really neglected. The leather has turned quite dry, I think, in some spots. And we will breathe some life back into these today. That will be my project. Milad, what did you bring?
Yes, I brought something from Portugal. These are the latest samples of the new models we are developing. We are doing like good welted bespoke shoes. So whenever we want to introduce a new model, it's a lot of work in advance, because we need to code the software, test everything at the factory. And yeah, that's a pretty first sample. It's just fresh out the factory, as you can see.
There's no sole.
No, it's and this is, by the way, if some of you have asked yourself how a good welted shoe is looking inside. I don't know if you can see it now on the camera, but here you can see how the welt is stitched to the rib through the upper.
Yeah.
And these shoes were not really finished at the factory. We just removed them from the line. And so I will try to make them nice and shiny for a photo shoot.
Cool, looking forward. Yeah, okay, so let's get started. As you can see, I'm inserting some shoe trees because that's quite crucial. I will speak about that later, why that is so important with cordovan. But maybe I should speak a little bit about this material first in general. So cordovan, shell cordovan is it's a bit different than most the leathers you can find on shoes, because it's not actually like the skin, it's more like a membrane that sits under the skin. And the animal where this comes from is a horse, and it's really just like the rear part of the horse. So from a relatively large animal, you can really only use like a little part, and you get like these two round pieces that are like this size. And I would say that for a pair of boots like this, you almost need like two of them, like one for each shoe probably, depending on the style and depending on how much, like how you can place the pattern of the shoe and all that. But so it's a really unique material, and what they then do is they take this membrane and they basically really densen the fibers. And how they do it is it's a bit different depending on the tannery, but it's often done with like a polished steel ball, or sometimes they also use glass, and then with a lot of pressure they compress the fibers to create this really dense leather. And then on top of that you have a finish made from wax, and probably lots of waxes. I don't know the exact formula of the finish. I think it's also different from each tannery, and I probably guess it's also a secret what they put in there, but this basically in the end creates a leather that is then heavily oiled. Like they really put a lot of oil in there. I think they even soak it in some oil barrels. And what you then have in the end is a really water resistant leather that you can, like if rain gets onto it, it's no problem at all. It's really resistant against water. It's quite good with scratches as well, because if you scratch it, you can just buff it out with a deer bone, or like we did in the last episode, basically with a bone or with polish.
I'll try it at least.
Yeah, we did. And so why I inserted a shoe tree is so that I have something that is inside the shoe that will allow me to press on the leather and to compress it again, because as you can see there is really like some creases here, and you can tell that the leather has gone a bit dry. So I will need to compress the fibers here again in this area. So I just brushed these shoes. I didn't do anything to them yet. I just removed a bit of the dust. So let's get the laces out of the way. And the product I'm going to start with is a Renovateur, which is a water-based formula, and that is particularly important with cordovan because you don't want to use any products that contain strong solvents. Other than with calfskin, where this isn't really a problem, you have to be careful because on cordovan, when you use something that has a lot of solvents in the product, you can damage the finish basically. And so what I will do now is I will just clean the shoes. Let me just get this one out of the way. With the Renovateur, because it gives a lot of oil back to the leather, but it also has some cleaning properties. So I will carefully clean, get rid of some old waxes and all other like residuals that have accumulated there on the leather from products that I've used in the past. And I will just do this all over the shoe now to strip off any waxes and to clean it and prepare the shoe for the other products I will then apply.
By the way, a lot of you guys sent us videos of them shining shoes. And we are really happy about that, and just got the idea to feature them on the stream. So don't wonder if you see some
other people shining shoes with us
randomly popping up in the screen.
Yeah, and if you want to join us for the next episode of something, just send us a message to Saphir Medaidor, to the Instagram channel, or to Mogada, Modum, wherever you want to send it. And then we can include your videos. We will give you some, we will tell you where to send the videos and all that, and then you will get featured in the next episode.
So here we have Thomas from Sweden.
Thomas from Helsingborg, Sweden, yeah. Exactly. And all right, so this shoe, I will now let it sit for a little bit so that the Renomat can dry and the leather can soak up all the oils, but it already looks much cleaner now. So really good. So let me get to the other boot. And how's your shoe coming along, Milan?
Yeah, I think it will take some time, but the biggest difference here is that this shoe will never be, the last will never be removed. It will never be worn by someone.
True.
So it does not need conditioning or something like that.
True.
I will directly start with the mirror gloss. Follow Kirby's advice from last time. Put a lot of it on the uppers, let it sit, and then I will use some Pâte de Luxe black to buff it. And the solvents, and there's a higher solvent concentration in the Pâte de Luxe, will help to smooth the wax I applied before. And hopefully I will achieve a very high shine.
Yeah, we'll see. No pressure. Yeah, okay, so let me just see if I forgot the back here. All right, so this is just, even here you can see that the leather has really gone dry a bit. And Cordovan has such a high oil content that this really means that the shoe has been neglected. So I didn't do good shoe care there. In this case, this is like my bad weather boot and for winter and all that. But yeah, I could have paid a bit more attention to caring for the Cordovan. But it's good to now show how to revive it, basically. Okay, so the other boot has absorbed all the Novateur. I can close this now. And now I will just brush it off a little bit with a goat hair brush. I'm using the goat hair which has a little bit stiffer bristles here in this case. So let me just... I'm also trying to get here between the upper and the welt to get everything clean and to distribute the cream a little bit more. That is still sitting in some areas. Okay, but this is good. I just want to get rid of some of the residual cream now. Okay, let me see a bit here. But you can already see that the leather is starting to shine again. You get rid of the light spots that had been here where the creasing is, and this already starting to look much better, but we are only getting started on this boot. Okay, that's that, and let me see the other one. Okay, and well, so Cordovan leather is really a leather that you find on... You can find many boots made from this material because it's a bit of a sturdier leather. It's also thicker than calfskin. It, as I said, it's more resilient to scratches, and you can find it on like boots like this. Also, some like penny loafers from the classic brands. It's quite a common style to have them in Cordovan. And they also do like nice unlined loafers with Cordovan, which I think is cool. So what that means is that you don't have any lining leather in the shoe. You really just have the Cordovan, and you can see here on the tongue on the inside it's quite light. I don't know if you can see this, but so that's what the inside of Cordovan then looks like. Here this boot has got some lining, but if you buy an unlined loafer, you only have really just one layer of leather, apart from the stiffness that they include for the toe and the rear part of the shoe. But
for where the stiffness are, they need to have lining. Right?
Yeah, they often put like some little leather pocket there where they can include the stiffener then. Ah. And yeah, okay, so that was the first step. And now we will proceed with the Cordovan cream. So this cream, it has a high oil content. It contains the neatfoot oil, which is the same oil that they use in the tannery. And this is particularly important so we can maintain the high oil content of the leather, or in this case, bring it back up because this one has gone dry a little bit. And so I'm using the Mididor Shell or the Cordovan cream. And in this case, I'm using the burgundy shade. So you often find Cordovan in like a reddish brown tint or colors like this. You can also find it a lot in black. Black is a quite common color for it. And so yeah, this one is from the American tannery Horween Shell Cordovan, and they have numbers for their colors. I think this one is number 8, but maybe Jesper can later correct me. I don't know if it's I don't know all the numbers by heart for these colors, and so I'm going for the burgundy cream here because this is like a bit of a reddish tinted brown shade. I'm using the Bordeaux Cordovan cream, and then I'm gonna proceed with some brown and burgundy mirror gloss later. Yeah, these are the products I'm using. How are you getting on, Mina?
Yes, I think I've put 1 or 2 layers of wax everywhere, and I now will apply a third layer of wax. Let it sit for 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I will buff it, and yeah.
I was
curious to see the result because I never polished a sample shoe before.
Okay.
And
well, it shouldn't be so different.
No,
to be honest.
It's very comfortable because it's like, you know, you have the perfect shoe tree inside.
And that's true. Yeah, the last is still inside. So for our viewers, you can see that this here is like a plastic last that is used in factories. The bespoke shoemakers that work by hand, they use wooden lasts. I only use wooden shoe lasts because it's easier to like change them and all that if you work by hand. But for factories, this is the most common thing. They have like a really hard plastic. And as Milad said, if you have the last inside, it's the perfect shoe tree. You can't get any better fit than the original last, of course. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to apply the cordovan cream now all over, and then I'm going to let it sit a little bit so that the leather can absorb it. And then we can already welcome our guest, I think. But let me first apply some layers here. And when you regularly take care of cordovan, it's really a indestructible leather. That's what many people, that there's really a big fan community for this material out there. So that's why people really like it. It's so sturdy and resilient, and if you take care of it, it can really last a lifetime. And on this boot, I haven't really taken care of it so well, so I will try to make up for that now.
So half a lifetime max, or
yeah, half a lifetime already gone. No, I think you can bring it back to life, definitely. Like, you just have to, it's just better to do it regularly, you know, like with every shoe. Like if you wait too long and like the leather starts to get dry and starts to crack, then it's already a bit too late, basically. But if you take care of them regularly, then you don't have to worry so much about that, and that's when you really can get the maximum lifetime out of the material. You know, if it's a high quality leather, you take good care of it, you can have the shoe for 20 years, 25 years or something like that, if it's good quality.
Yeah, and you really need to be careful and patient never to, you know, stop with this routine, because when you're like not caring for them for half year, let's say, at some point, you cannot restore everything just by
true.
trying.
Once the leather starts to crack, it's cracked. You know, you can't really do much about that then, and that's really a shame if that happens, I think. What's the leather on your shoe anyway?
We are using box calf from Weinheimer.
Oh, right, okay.
Some of you maybe know like 50, 60 years ago, the origin started, or 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, it started as Freudenberg Tannery. And today there was like the family bought the factory back, or the brand back, and Weinheimer is, I think the black leather is used by most of high quality shoe brands and shoemakers. And
there is other nice leathers out there, but it's also one of my favorites for black. Yeah, definitely, I agree. Yeah, it's a nice look. It's and once you kind of know it, you start to see it everywhere, basically, on many brands.
And what I really love about Weinheimer, similar to Tannery Martin or Rentenbach, which is now closed, but that these are still family-owned businesses. Which is affected by a lot of big brands in the shoe world, that they are still, you know, managed and run by the same family for like 100 years, and something we really appreciate. And when sourcing or looking for suppliers, when starting with Modum, this was one of our criteria, to work whenever possible with family-owned businesses.
That's why you chose Saphir as well. Yeah, no? It's also family-owned. Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't know that fact. They think it's such a big company, but
no, it's also still family-owned. Yeah. All right, so what I'm doing here now, where I had the creases on the vamp of the boots, I'm really applying some pressure now, maybe you can see. And that's why it was important to insert the shoe tree before, because like that I can really now rub out the creases a little bit, which is a unique feature of cordovan. You can really get rid of the creases by just rubbing the leather back to its original state. And when you apply something like an oily cream, it makes it even easier because it softens up the leather. I'm also going to do that a little bit on the other boot.
I hate polishing broguing.
It's the broguing, what did Kirby say last time? You should just accept that you won't get it to such a high shine like a plain toe or something like that, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but sure, I mean, you have a lot of perforations there, so it's more difficult for sure. All right, so this shoe is now creamed. I'm gonna let that sit now so that the leather can really absorb everything. And I think it's time that we welcome our guest.
Yeah.
Let me see, wait, I'm gonna turn on the volume here. Okay. Hello, Jesper, can you hear us?
Hey guys, yeah.
How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm gonna clean a boot here today.
Okay, nice, just like me. What kind of boot is it?
This is it's fully handmade, hand-welted, hand-lasted, hand-stitched seams and all from Indonesia. Midas for collaboration with Schoolix, the company I work for.
Cool, I think I've seen it on your blog, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pull-up leather, which they have been. We have like 40 centimeters of snow here in Sweden at the moment. So they've been through quite a lot the past few weeks. So yeah. Definitely in need of good cleaning.
It's definitely the boot season now.
Yes.
Same here in Germany. We don't have as much snow as you've got in Sweden, but it's already starting to be quite cold and rainy and all that. So yeah, it's time to bring the boots out. And yeah. All right, cool, very interesting. So that's like a pull-up leather. That's also one of the leathers that is also has a higher oil content, no?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's when you see that. I'm not sure how much you see here, but it's when it's stretched and when it's bent, it sort of gets lighter in the shade, so to speak. That's why you call it pull-up, because the pull effect, so to speak. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I first just brush them off, then I'm gonna go over them with the cleanser, just get off the dirt, and then I'll use the Nappa conditioner, which is really great if you want to keep like a natural patina, because there's no wax in this, which means that it only nourishes and conditions.
Nice, yeah.
But leave for this really nice natural patina that you sort of like on this type of things. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Cool. All right. So we wanted to speak with you a little bit about shoes, of course, but I think first Milad has some questions for you.
Yeah, I mean, we received a lot of questions about you, and there were, I think, 3 topics which stood out where people asked us most about. And one, Jesper, was about your journey. And so if you could tell us a little bit about, your personal background, how you got started with shoes, that would be really appreciated.
I mean, back in my previous life, so to speak, I was a professional cyclist. And
really?
That was what I was, what I was supposed to engage my life in. But then I got some problems with illness and stuff like that. So then I turned towards my other plan, which was journalist. So I'm an educated journalist and worked especially in Swedish National Radio Broadcasting Association or company for a number of years. Yeah, but I mean, back in the days, I was like indie pop guy. So all I cared about was which brand was on the T-shirt. The only thing that mattered. I think I wore like Adidas Superstar 2 sneakers. I bought one in spring, used it for a full year, like with duct tape and everything towards the end, and then threw them away and bought another pair of Superstar 2. So didn't know much or cared much about clothing or footwear and all.
Okay.
But then, you started working and wanted to, dress more adult, grown up, so to speak. And then I think I wanted a nice coat, and I started, searching online, and ended up on these, menswear sites, where I first got one of those pretty decent long coats, and then I had, seen these, about welted footwear.
Sure.
So I got my first pair of welted shoes was Loke Aldwych, like a plain cap toe Oxford from the British brand. Budget entry level good welted shoes.
Yeah.
So which I think, especially here in Sweden, that's a really popular first.
Do you still have it?
Shoe for people. Yeah, of course.
Cool.
Since I bought it too big back then, I didn't know that much. So it was actually too big when I got it, but now I gained a lot of kilos and my feet have sort of flattened a bit, so now they fit quite okay again.
Okay, nice. Interesting. Okay.
So, and then I was so hooked. And when I get into things, I get into things. So, and after a couple of years when, spent a lot of time online, talking with people about shoes, reading about shoes, blah, 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 my wife just said, "Why don't you do something proper with that time? Start a blog or something." And yeah,
cool. Yeah.
Then we got shoegazing, and I mean, it's become much more than I ever imagined. If I started in Swedish in 2012, and then a couple of years later English, and then it's been, you know, growing with, like you said, the super trunk shows. We had it in Sweden first with Swedish championships in shoe shining, and then collaborating with Justin on doing it in London, and now Amsterdam as well. And we have the world championships, shoe shining and shoe patina and shoe making. And yeah, I mean, I love that, and that it's just being part of this whole community, which is sort of rather diverse, I feel. With you have everything, you know, from boot nerds, those who love this type of things, to, you know, regular just folks who just want to buy proper good shoes, and then dress shoe nerds and shoe shiners, and you know, factory people, and people like you, Louise, who sit at home more or less and do your own bespoke shoes and stuff like that. So it's really diverse.
Cool. Back then,
you meet people at the LVMH companies one day, and then you sit in a basement with some Japanese fella next week, and it's
really diverse. Yeah, that's what I like about your blog. Like, you have insights into the industry, but then you also have like articles about like craftsmen that have a little workshop. You have articles about different tanneries, leather types, and everything. So it's so diverse. I really like that. Yeah, but sorry.
So back then, when you, let's say, fall in love with welted shoes, I mean, Instagram was very new, and there wasn't like the community around which we see today, right? With so many influencers, followers.
No, exactly. I mean, you had sort of the forums when Ask Andy about clothes and style forum. Justin had already started his blog, and we had a few of those places. But in Sweden, we had basically nothing on shoes. So that's why I started it, basically, because there was a lack of it. But yeah, like you said, now with Instagram, and you have Facebook groups, and Reddit and Discord groups that I'm part of. And it's much bigger today. And it's, YouTube, of course. So it's for people who want to gather knowledge. It's both a blessing and a curse, I would say, because there's so much information out there. And I mean, of course, there's a bunch of people who know their stuff, but there are also a bunch of people who really don't know their stuff, but who sort of go on about it like they know things. I can see quite a lot that you have these people, you know, who they maybe read a lot about things and gather some knowledge, but they often, you know, misinterpret things, and you can hear or read that they say things that they've read somewhere else, but they haven't really fully understood it and stuff like that. So,
Jesper, sorry, we're just getting the message. Could you please raise the camera a little bit, because otherwise your head is cut off.
I mean, I thought the shoes were more important.
But we want to see you as well, of course. Okay.
No, but I mean, so it's, of course, it's and both that you have sources of information, and of course that you have access to so many great shoes that you can, if you see a nice shoe on Instagram or whatever, you can often, if it's a small, if it is that Japanese fella in the basement, you can contact him on Instagram and you know, send over your measurements, or let him know what type of sizes you wear, and you can order them from other part of the world. And it's just so amazing that you have the possibility to get in contact with and get access to so much great stuff, which was a totally different story before we got this digital era.
I can imagine.
Louis and I actually met on Instagram.
Through work. Through work. It's like it's a great way to connect, like in the shoe community and all that. Of course, it's that's how this whole project got started, basically through Instagram. It's amazing. Okay, but Jesper, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your shoe collection. So, like, I think that you have quite a really nice and tasteful collection of shoes, like that you have accumulated after over the years. And what would you say? How many pairs of bespoke do you have, and how many are still like ready to wear? And
I know that when I did this, I think I did it first like every year, but now it's maybe every consecutive year or even every third year or so that I do this, like gather all the shoes that I have and take photos of them and write a bit about them on the blog. I think when I did that last time, which was maybe 1.5 years ago, I think I had like 30 pairs of shoes, and half of them were bespoke or made to measure from bespoke makers. Because I'm not really a shoe collector in that sense. That if I would have kept all the shoes that I bought, I would have a lot. But I sell off shoes that I don't wear that much, and trim the collection in a way. So yes, but now it's been growing a bit. So maybe I have 20 pairs of bespoke or something like that.
Nice.
Bespoke or made to measure from bespoke makers. Yeah.
And how many have you got coming up in the pipeline? I know that you've recently visited Patrick Fly in Germany. Yeah, and
that I'm looking forward to.
Me too. I'm looking forward to see the shoes. But how many have you got like waiting?
I have from him. I have one order from Mandor. I have 3 pairs from him in Ejimurata in Japan. Yeah. But that one we're still waiting for me to be able to get back to to Japan again. Because we want to both check some small fittings that you want to be sure to correct it in the right way, and also looking at leather. I prefer to do that in the shop with him. But so I have that. I have one pair from Catella, your old mentor,
Daniel. Yes.
And I have some from Calzoreria Callino, which is like remote bespoke thing, or remote made to measurement, what you call it. I just got my second pair from Acme. I have them here. I can bring really nice from the Chinese company. They make ready to wear, made to measure, and bespoke. So this is like Haas pigskin grain, so to speak. So it's calf leather but embossed to look like pigskin. So they are really cool. I got them yesterday, and there's probably something that I forget. But, a couple of things I'm waiting for. So
nice. Okay. I would just so just to let the viewers know what I'm doing right now, I'm just applying a second coat now of the Cordovan cream. This is something that is usually not really necessary, but in this case, since the Cordovan has gotten so dry, I'm applying a second coat, and I will let it sit now so that the leather can really absorb all the oils and get back to its like original state, hopefully. Jesper, maybe you've already heard, but so my boots here, they've gone quite dry, which is something that is like with Cordovan leather, it's really like you have to work hard to get it dry. You know what I mean? Like, but it just.
I mean, Cordovan is it's you have to sort of care for it a bit to make it look good, but it's really rather easy to get it really nice condition again, and it lasts for a long time. If you do that, so
because it usually
nice leather in that regard.
It comes with such a high oil content already. And
exactly.
All right, so I'm going to let these sit here a little bit now. So we have another topic we wanted to speak with you about. I think, Mila, you wanted to speak about.
I really enjoyed reading one of your articles where you spoke about the difference between really handmade shoes and factory-made shoes. And this was also a topic where a lot of people had questions about.
Like the meaning of handmade in the shoe world. Like, I think it's a really interesting topic. Like, what's your personal opinion?
I mean, my personal opinion is that it's a mess the way things is done today. The way words are constantly devaluated and doesn't really mean what they're supposed to mean. I mean, it's not only the shoe world, and it's not really a new thing. It's been going on for decades, but it's sort of like a lot of things tend to do in this era is that things keep spinning quicker and quicker. So if you are going towards what I then feel is the wrong direction, it goes much quicker today with Kickstarter-esque language things taking over and all that. But so what I mean, if you look at a dictionary and see what the word handmade or handcrafted actually means, then machines shouldn't really be part of it at all, more or less, if you were really going to look at it in an orthodox way. But nowadays, I mean, everything that you have sort of had a hand hold the shoe or maybe even touch the shoe at some point during the manufacturing, then it's called handmade, which I mean, especially in this world that we are in, so to speak, it's also really unnecessary because we have so many words that you could use instead, which sort of gives that association, but indeed is correct and not sometimes even straight out of lie. I mean, a good gewelting or good gewelted is a construction method which sort of implies that you have to have a machine, because Goodyear is a machine.
Exactly.
And that's where the name comes from. And it's a great construction method to make good shoes in an efficient way, and people associate it with quality and a lot of good feelings, or what you want to say when you hear good gewelted. But instead, people want to use handmade and stuff like that, and you sort of also for good gewelted shoes, and nowadays even for Blake stitch shoes or sneakers that I have stitched, sidewall stitched sneakers. That's called handmade nowadays. I mean, it's a problem because if you look at how those things are made, of course, there's a lot of skilled work going into it, and there's of course a certain amount of actual, working with your hands and with tools. But the majority is, there's big machine parts at the big factory, and that's how they are made. And it's nothing wrong with that. That's what makes them accessible and make them possible for a lot of people to buy.
Absolutely.
But for like this shoe which is actually a handmade shoe. They have hand lasted it. They have hand skived the stiffeners and even stitched the rubber sole by hand with all that.
That's hard work.
Yeah, and I mean, what are they gonna call their stuff? If the
super
fellas
handmade?
who super mega handmade.
But it's true. This should
really, and it's really
misleading.
misleading because, I mean, if you would be cynical, you could say the $19 sneaker from Walmart is handmade because actually,
in a way,
shoe industry, there's
Someone
a lot of manual work. It's not a car factory, but it has nothing to do with quality. And
I think like handmade should really mean what Jesper said, that it's like when you look at bespoke shoemaking and someone is really doing all the steps by hand, then you can call it a handmade shoe. Like the only exception I think that is absolutely okay is that you stitch the uppers with a sewing machine, because
exactly. And I mean, I'm rather loose in the edges, especially what some people think. That because I can even I sort of draw my line when a shoe is hand welted. I know that there's so much manual labor going into it, so I'm okay with calling that a handmade shoe.
All right, okay.
Even if you stitch the sole with machine, but they're still prepping the edge, and you almost always hand last those shoes and stuff like that. So call that a handmade shoe maybe, but. And that's, I know a lot of people think that's way too liberal, but then you have another majority of things, which is also the thing is that those who call their rather cheap Blake stitched shoes handmade, or entry-level Goodyear welted shoes handmade, and all these buzzwords. They are the ones who introduce people to this world, and it's if people think that okay, this is the best that you can get, it's the handmade shoe with the finest leather in the world. And because of course they are good shoes, but they're not that good. And if you think that this is the best that you can get, why would you go on and buy that shoe for €1,000 instead of this? Because I mean they cut out all the middlemen, so it's
that's definitely
just as good as things 3 times the price.
Cutting out the middleman is a bit of a
and it's
which
really
is
also again
really
misleading because if you
in this area, because for quality shoes, in all I've written about this as well, that I mean in almost all brands and all things, it's you buy directly from the factories in most parts. Then there's in some cases agents, in some cases very rarely wholesalers, but you don't have these luxury brand markups that these brands like to compare themselves with when they do these graphs of how much they cut out prices. So in this world, it doesn't really add up at all to call that you cut out the middleman. Because I mean, I work at a company who we have our own brand, Skolix, and we have TLB, Mallorca, and Bianco, and we have exactly the same margins on all these shoes. We buy them in exactly the same way from the factories, and but if we would go about it like some brands do with Skolix, we would call that, disrupting the industry with the no middleman thing. While we do the exact same way with the brands, but
and I mean there's a reason why a retailer takes a part of the cake, because distributing shoes, selling shoes is expensive. And I think that's also a thing a lot of people don't know. They just think, okay, you just make the shoes and ships them to the customer.
Okay. But all these direct-to-consumer brands, they actually buy the shoes in the same way as
they are
the retailer do.
They don't have any savings.
The retailer buy it just that it has a brand on it, and the other ones, of course, you have some more control. And maybe if you only sell online, you have a bit smaller, turnaround or costs for the whole business, but it's not the way it's promoted. I don't really think that it's accurate in many senses, and also sort of unnecessary, especially in this this industry that we are in.
Okay, so before we now get to the quiz part, I'm just gonna give a little update here. So the shoes are now creamed, and you can really tell that the leather has absorbed a lot of oil, and it already looks much better, much smoother again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the mirror gloss, and why I'm using that is because it contains less solvent, so there is really not a risk to ruin the finish of the cordovan with some solvents. And for example, in the Pâte de Luxe you have more solvents, so I'm not using this one, I'm using the mirror gloss for these boots now. So just to give the viewers a little update what I'm doing here. And alright, so I think it's now the quiz time, Jesper. So we have 3 games for you. One in which you have to guess the brand of a shoe, and then also like guess the price and rank them by price. Then there is that's the first one here, game shoe spotting, and then after that there will be another 2. But I think Milad is going to talk you through these games now.
All right, so not sure, Jesper, if you watched the first episode, but I'm not as nice as Lewis.
I watched it, but sort of, at the same time I was taking care of my kids, so I wasn't fully focused. I know roughly what this was. I think I remember pretty good. I remember. So we'll see.
Yeah, we are all super curious who will lead the leaderboard after today's episode. So and the first game is pretty easy. We have prepared 6 pictures of shoes, in this case boots for you. And next we will show you each shoe in a close-up. And you have to guess the brand. And at the end, we will show you again all 6 pairs, and then you have to rank them based on the price from high to low. And you get 1 point for each brand that you correctly name, and 1 point for each shoe which is in the correct order.
Okay. Cool.
All right, then I think we can start.
That's the overview there, yeah.
With the first shoe.
Oh, okay. I mean, it looks American. I would say Alden, but I'm not sure. Or maybe Enzo.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, if that's your answer, that's all right. We can continue with the next one.
Yeah.
So you would say Alden for these ones?
Yeah, that's my first guess. Yeah.
Here we have the next shoe.
Probably French, maybe Italian. Could it be Obersee, maybe?
Okay, yeah, okay. Next one.
This is difficult, much more difficult than Kirby's.
Yeah,
I know. We thought we would make it too easy for you otherwise.
I think this is some Dinkelacker, perhaps. Would be my
All right.
guess. The German brand. Yeah.
Okay, we lock that one in then. Next one. Okay.
This is French.
Yeah.
Either Septième Lagueur or Caroline Core. Alton could be as well.
You were quite good with your first guess, I think.
Okay, then we go with that.
Okay, let's see. We have 2 more, 1 more.
1 more.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's the easiest.
You think so?
Oh, I'm wrong.
I will give you another hint, yes, but because I also gave hints to Kirby. So we're still in the same country here than the last one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I would say Paraboot or Herschel.
Okay. Okay.
But that was probably wrong based on your. It could be Jane Weston as well. But no, that looks like Paraboot and Herschel's, the way they stitch things, the sole stitching.
It's actually true, yeah. But so, okay. So you want to say Paraboot?
Yeah, guess so.
All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see
if
we can see what you. Oh no, there's 1 more. Sorry, that's the last one.
I think this is Crockett and Jones.
Yeah. All right.
That's basically the only one that I actually recognized.
Okay, yeah, good.
Okay, then
let's see your answers on the overview. All right, we have to wait. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so
that was it? Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I think. So I would just
Obersee instead of the Dorsey, and then Septième Lagueur on the second one.
For the patina Jodhpur boot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Top right corner. Okay, all right. And price-wise, how would you rank them? What would you say is the most expensive one? Which is the cheapest one?
If I'm right, it's I think Obersee is the most expensive one.
So
probably. B exactly. Then maybe, but maybe that's like Berluti or whatever. If it's French, that boot, and then it's super expensive. But if it's Paraboot, if I go with the brands that I've guessed, Obersee. Is it maybe Alden, Dinkelacker, Crockett and Jones, and Septième Lagueur? Paraboot before there, and Septième Lagueur. Yeah.
Okay. So Alden is the third. Then wait, which one was the second? Sorry, let me just
Paraboot.
Paraboot,
yeah.
You said. Okay. Then
No. It's Obersee, Alden.
Okay, so A is the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Dinkelacker is the third one.
Okay, C is the third. Yeah.
then Crockett and Jones, then Paraboot, and finally Septième Lager.
Okay, F is the 4th, then the 5th, and then the 6th. Okay.
I think this is way off.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see the results. So, okay, Alden, you got the brand right, but that was actually the most expensive. Then the one, those Balmoral boots, it's actually Alfred Sargent.
Yeah.
And Dinklacker you got right. Crockett and Jones you got right. Then the one you thought that was Paraboot is actually Malfroy. But then Septième Lager is also completely right. Very good. Okay. So let's see.
Sargent. It's a brand that doesn't even exist anymore. Didn't think of that because of this.
True, yeah, okay.
I blame it on that.
Okay, very good. Okay.
So we have 4 points for the right brands.
Yeah, 4 for the right point. For the ranking, it's like, let me see, did you count it? Mina,
3, I would say.
3, okay, so that's 7 in total for the first game. But I have to be fair, like I chose more difficult pictures than last time because I thought I would make it too easy otherwise on Jesper. So let's give him one extra point. Let's say like 8 in the first round, just to keep it fair. No,
fair. It's
okay, 7. Okay, 7 it is then. Okay. So then next game.
Here I think Jesper will make a lot of points. It's our Super Zoom game, and it's pretty easy. We were going to show you a picture, and the first version of the picture will be massively magnified. And then it's your turn to guess what the picture is showing. It's a shoe part or a material usually, which is used in shoemaking. Yeah. And whenever you have no clue, you can say next, and then we will like zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
And you get more points as less zooms you need to guess the path. And so let's start with the first picture.
Image.
All right, that looks. I think it's a sole stitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Welt stitch on top of the welt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good guess. Let's see the result then. Let's zoom out.
It's right.
Yeah.
Can you maybe describe it? Which side it is? If it's a sole stitch.
Sorry.
If it's a sole stitch, which side is it?
On the welt?
Is it the side of the outsole or?
No, that's on the top.
On the welt. Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the flashing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
there
you rocked that game.
Yeah. Okay. So the fudging, the sole stitching. So that was completely right. First guess. Okay. Let's see the next one.
This could be.
I haven't seen that one myself.
Honey or something like that. Maybe lining leather, but we'll see. I think I need another zoom.
Yeah, okay. That's from the microscope, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a microscope picture.
I haven't seen that one myself, actually.
Very.
I think you have it on your table.
Yeah, you spoke about it earlier. With the acne shoes.
Is it pigskin leather or?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, real pigskin leather. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the embossing to make it look like that.
All right. Okay.
A cool leather. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was pigskin. Okay, so on the second zoom stage, no? Second one.
Second
all right.
one. So.
Okay, so
7 points.
All right.
This is fun.
Is there one more?
I enjoyed this.
No, just final game.
As nerdy as it can get, I think.
Okay.
Right up my alley.
Yeah, no, it's really nerdy. I know we're looking through it. We're looking at leather through a microscope here.
Not that.
All right. So last game. Yeah, like on the run. Jesper, are you ready? You gotta. I gotta stop the time.
Exactly.
I think you're gonna.
Seems like someone has
rock this game. Yeah. All right. So, are you ready?
I'm gonna say brand names. Just
So you're gonna just say as many shoe brands as you know in 60 seconds. Okay.
Or shoemakers.
You're gonna have to have people have like blindfold themselves, because otherwise I could have it written here somewhere and just.
True.
Yeah, but this is like
for
shoe community honor. Nobody would do that.
We believe in your honesty, Jesper. Okay, are you ready?
30 seconds, right?
Yeah, sure.
Was it 60 or 30 seconds?
I have to have a
60.
sort of a plan. Maybe go by country or something like that.
Okay.
Just not freeze. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Let
and
me know when you start.
yeah, I will let you know. And go.
Let's start with Japan. Yohei Fukuda, Hiro Yanagamachi, Mandor, Perfetto, Otsuka, Royal, Union, Clematis, Joe Works. Go to Indonesia with we have Sagara, Midas. Go to France, Berluti, Aubrey, John Lowe Paris, Cote, Atelier de Tranchets, Crockett and Jones, Alfred Sargent, Paul Sargent, Churches, John Lobb, Cleverly, Foster's, Dinkelacker, Budai, Vosch, Catella, Gaziano and Girling, Edward Green. We can go with
5 seconds.
one.
Stop. Stop.
Okay.
So 28. I counted. You counted 28 as well?
2.
All right. Let me see what our team said. 32 they said. Okay, okay, they were better.
I trust them.
Okay, well done. Well done.
Thanks.
32,
Well done.
7 points in the second game and 7 points in the first game. So that's 46 in total.
Yeah.
Well
Wow.
done. Well done, Jesper. You really rocked the quiz section there. And so we can log that in. Let me
Good.
see.
I'm gonna have to take a strong drink after this or something.
So
Yeah, but it's really.
You know, like we want to.
I'm looking forward to following this.
wow.
All right, so you're leading the leaderboard now, Jesper.
Yeah,
with 46
it's
points.
like
so
the
yeah,
Top Gear, the
Exactly.
Top Gear leaderboard.
nice. Okay, we will see if we will have a guest one day that can beat you. And
I'm sure.
I think now it's time to get to the Q&A section and to answer the questions from the community.
Yes, we received a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And I think we will now start to just show some of them, and a lot of them were directly addressed to you, Jesper, and some of them were more open. So, can we get the first question? Whoa, the first question
For Jesper.
and what are the advantages of metal toe tips? Are they necessary? What do you think, Jesper?
I mean, necessary totally depends on how you walk and conditions and your sort of steps, because some people wear down their toes rather quick, while some can, they walk much more soft, so to speak, and don't take out their step in the same way. But if you have, especially if you have rather cheap leather soles, single leather soles, that's not the best quality, then it's definitely good to add metal toe tip. I add it basically whenever I can from the maker. I have flush metal toe tips, even here when it's rubber toppy, just because I tend to wear it down quite a lot, otherwise toes. But the advantage, of course, is you you don't wear down the toe as quick. You can have rubber toe tips as well. Put on, sunken rubber toe taps as well. You can even add a new layer of leather if you wear down the toe. But the main thing is that you don't want to wear down things to the welt, because if you need to exchange the welt, it's a lot of more work, more expensive. So that's why you do that, to not head down to the welt when you wear it before, because often it's the toe that wears first, heel and toe. And the heel is rather easy to exchange. You basically always do one re-heeling before you go on with the sole and do you half re-sole or full re-sole, and also switch the heel. And in my view, if I have a metal toe tap on or a rubber toe tap, I sort of wear down that at the same amount of time as I wear down the the sole. So
Yeah.
then we can exchange of the top lift, and then next one up it's the full resolve or
okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, of course, the advantage is longevity. And I know a lot of some here in Sweden. I know some people in the US might be shocked now, but we don't wear shoes inside here. We take off our shoes when we come in. It's like in Japan.
Yeah.
So in that
Same in
sense,
Germany,
we
really.
don't have that problem with walking around inside with the metal on the wooden floors.
Yeah.
But if you have, flush metal toe taps, it's still not that much of a problem, even on wooden floors. As long as you make sure that the screws are also flushed. If you have some screws protruding, then that can make some really bad marks in the floors. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see the next one. Let's see, there it was, now it's gone. Oh, I'd like to know what the cream for cordovan contains that makes it different from regular cream. Okay, well, what it contains that the regular Saphir 1925 cream doesn't contain is the neatfoot oil, which is the same oil that the Horween Tannery, for example, uses for their cordovan leather, as far as I'm informed. So it's a different type of oil. It also has a much higher oil content, which is important for a leather like this, and it contains, I'm sure that it contains some kind of solvent, but the amount of solvent is much lower, so that you don't have any problems with the finish on the cordovan. And yeah, that would be the difference, I would say. Jesper, do you have something to add to that?
No, I think that's correct. I don't think it's turpentine in it.
Exactly.
I know you can ship it on airplanes.
Yeah, so maybe it's a water-based formula as well, like the Renovateur cream.
Can't you ship Pat Deluxe on airplanes?
No, because it's flammable. Yeah, everything that's flammable, you have to put it on a ship.
Yeah, and turpentine, it's just from pine trees. It's natural, but it's still
flammable.
Rather flammable. So it's you can ship it on by plane, or you can, but it's a big hassle. So
so you're also not allowed to take your Pat Deluxe on plane with you?
No, that's why there's the Traveler's Pat Deluxe now, which is with different not flammable solvents.
It was Berluti who demanded that, because they had so many customers who wanted to have the travel
to bring it,
be able to travel with their wax.
Yeah. All right, let's see the next one then.
How can I restore old exotic leather with a legato once it has dried out?
Okay, that's
then you have the Nappa cream. I would say is excellent for the exotic leathers.
Yeah, better than the Renovateur, you would say, Jesper?
It sort of depends, but the Renovateur has some waxes in it. It's a bit, and I think if it's really sensitive, I would go with the Nappa cream, because this is basically the most gentle thing you can add on your shoe. When I've had some, not crocodile, but I had lizard skin, which was very delicate. And then I only used the Nappa cream to be as gentle as possible. But yeah, Renovateur also.
Then there's also
cases.
There's also the Zeptan cream that is for like reptile leather and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's also an option.
I think that's similar to the Nappa cream.
Yeah. So I think start with a product like that and then see how the skin reacts. It's also always good to start in the like less visible spot of the shoe or the bag, whatever it is, so you can get an idea of how the leather will react to the product. And so I would recommend that. Nappa cream, Renovateur or Reptan cream in a not so visible area first to see how the leather reacts, and then take it from there. Yeah. Okay, next one. For Milan.
Sorry, I saw that it was asked to you.
Don't worry, Jesper. No, that's what we've got you here for in the show. Don't worry. Milan, that one's for you. What is the biggest difference between Modum's way of bespoke shoemaking and the traditional one?
Oh,
let's find out.
Yeah. Okay, maybe let's start with what they both have in common, and that's the fact that we create for each customer a unique last from scratch, a unique pattern from scratch, and make them shoes. And there are, I think, two big differences. One is the way you interact with us. We don't have a store. We don't have like physical shoemakers. Instead, you make a 3D scan of your foot using a smartphone, and we are using this 3D scan to make to design and make your shoes. And here again, we're using a lot of technology to automate this process. So the lasts are like designed by a software which was developed together with shoemakers. And then the shoes are not made by hand, but we are working together with a factory in Portugal, which is able to produce this bespoke shoes on their standard production line.
Goodyear welted.
Goodyear welted with our custom lasts. And so that's a main difference. And in terms of construction and quality, we are more comparable, let's say, with premium Goodyear welted brands. But in terms of fit, we try to close the gap between ready-to-wear or made-to-order and bespoke.
Okay, all right.
Can I ask, do you have a last maker that works with the last from the digital measurements?
So what we did actually is that we partnered with two shoemakers in Germany, and we developed a software which is like designing the lasts automatically based on the 3D scan. And that software was trained together with the shoemaker, which is Martin Stoja from Baden-Baden. And like we scanned his whole last archive and applied some, modern technology to train the software to design the last automatically. So no human is involved in designing the last. It's just checked, by a human once the software has suggested the last and pattern design.
Okay, all right. Let's see the next question then to all. What are the biggest challenges when making bespoke shoes in terms of achieving the right fit? Well, Jesper, what would you say as a bespoke customer that has had bespoke shoes from many makers? What's like the biggest challenge when achieving the right fit?
Yeah, and I have very complicated feet. The bespoke makers who made shoes for me, they sort of, when they meet each other, they end up in a corner and talk shit about my feet because there's such a mess.
What? No, I remember you last from Gaziano Girling. We never did that. I can assure you.
What I would say is that the difficult thing is to get the communication right, to be able to explain things to the maker. Of course, a skilled bespoke maker, you should of course be able to interpret a lot of things, but then there's so much that is individual in how you feel things. What I experience as tight can be experienced by someone else as loose.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much, personal interpretations of things going into how a shoe fits and how you sort of how you want the support to be and all that. But and there's often a lot of talk on this, that you shouldn't really expect a shoe to fit perfectly the first time, and there's a lot of people who complain about that you spent shitloads of money on a bespoke shoe. Well, of course it should fit perfect. I think what you have to look at there is what you put in the word perfect. Because, I would say, especially if you have complicated feet, of course a first pair of bespoke shoes should fit better than all your ready-to-wear shoes. But there might still be some things that you could improve that you sort of constantly work with, and that's the case for me. I have awesomely fitting bespoke shoes, but still, when I meet a maker for a new order, we do look at things and you do small tweaks and stuff like that. Usually, even if it's maybe just some small area that you've been working on the last couple of pairs, just to get it perfectly right.
Would you say that the pairs you've got that fit the best, would you say that was achieved because of the communication and because you could communicate to the maker certain things, like your vision that you had for the shoes or in terms of fit and all that? Do you think it was by that, or is it just really like because the maker interpreted it so well and just knew what he was doing?
Yeah, I mean, sort of a bit of all, but yeah, of course, the maker's skill and all that. But also, to be frank, I think in a way it's also a bit of luck, which could sound a bit weird. But the thing is that I have a lot of different bespoke shoes, and if it only was about copying a foot and making it into a last and in the perfect way, then all my bespoke shoes would look more or less the same. But that's not the situation. You do things differently. You solve things differently as a bespoke maker. You have different ways to work on accommodating a foot type and all that. So in that sense, some things work better for some feet and some things work less good for some feet. And in that sense, it could be a bit of luck in occasions that some make it work in a way that suits how my feet tend to work. So yeah. But it's and what I feel is that you shouldn't really be nervous, because if you buy from a good bespoke shoemaker and if things don't turn out well, which has happened to me a couple of times, that you sort of don't achieve what you're after, a good bespoke maker, they make sure to solve that and to make the customer satisfied. So, I mean, it's not like you're putting money down the drain if you're going to a proper bespoke maker who
that should never
take
be
the work seriously.
No.
So that's what people should be.
But I think apart from
with.
I think apart from communication between the maker and the customer, there's also some things that are like, for example, if you measure the client in winter and then you deliver the first fitting in summer, and then there's like temperature differences and the feet are different, the measurements differ a little bit like during the seasons, and that's something you have to look out for, but that's unique with every person that you measure. So there's always like a little bit of difference with each client, and that's what you got the fitting shoes for, basically, to eliminate that and to kind of get a feeling for the customer and all these, like all the things that you said, like for example, something that for you might be too loose is too tight for another one. That's what the fitting shoes are for, I think, to get rid of that in that stage.
I mean, we have the disadvantage, or we decided, let's say it that way, not to make fitting shoes, but instead to replace or make one shoe more, if it's necessary. But instead what we do, we ask our customers to scan the surf at least 2 to 3 times at different days. And at the beginning, when we started to make the first, let's say, prototype shoes, the first shoes for friends and family, it was like a random error we had in some of the shoes. And then when we digged into it, it turned out that we can massively reduce this problem by averaging different scans, which for us is very easily, because we do everything with computers, It's not, I think if you would try to do it by hand, it would take too much time.
It's a different thing.
And once I could not, agree more to what Jesper said. And one special problem we have, and I'm curious to know if you have a similar experience, is that we have a lot of customers, it's their first pair of bespoke shoes. And a lot of them, we realize they actually don't really know what they want at the beginning. And then it becomes really hard if people don't know what they want, to provide them with something which really makes them happy.
Okay. Well, from my observation, it's more that when people decide to have bespoke shoes made, it's because they usually are not really happy with what they can find ready to wear, because they have some fit issues that then makes them order bespoke shoes. So it's often the case that they know quite well that they say, okay, I always have this one particular problem, and that's then the reason why they decide to have bespoke shoes made. So I've seen it a bit differently then, but okay. There's definitely like a lot of challenges, and that's what's also the nice thing about making bespoke shoes, like to interact with the customer, to build up a relationship, and then to achieve the perfect fit over time together with the customer and all. But okay, let's see the next one. See, that's what. Okay, yes, but it's for you. Since I'm from Latin America, I would like to know what Latin American shoemaker you know that makes high quality shoes. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I have to be frank there that it's not my special area, so to speak. I know you have a few, like, especially American brands. They do quite a lot of shoes in Mexico. But because you have relatively
cheap labor,
low wages, and also good skill.
Yeah.
And then if you look at South America in general, going further south, I know that we have Casa Fagliano in, I think it's Argentina.
Yeah, they do like riding boots and stuff, no?
Yeah, exactly, and they also. So they do like bespoke riding boots and stuff like that, fully handmade, and they also have a like ready-to-wear range, but also actually made in Spain by a European manufacturer, but with a pretty cool designs.
Yeah.
And so they are a quite interesting one. And then I know there's one guy that I was contacted with rather recently. If it's Torres or something, he's from Brazil. I don't fully remember the name now. He makes pretty cool shoes. Very, look a bit like an South American Bestetti.
Okay. Interesting.
Like
I don't know him. No.
Which is very, aggressive, lost shapes and pretty cool designs. Caio Torres.
Okay, interesting. I don't know him.
That's his name on Instagram, at least, which is pretty cool South American maker.
All right.
So there are a few, and I know. I mean, of course, if you live in Latin America, or I'm sure you would know a lot more than these ones.
Yeah, of course. For us, it's far away as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and it's. I know there's a tradition, and I know there's an interest as well. It's just that it's a part of the world that you're not. I've never been there.
Okay.
And only what you find out online, basically.
Okay. All right. Let's see the next question then.
Where can I find tools to make shoes?
Well, that's a question that troubles every shoemaker when they start out. But let's make it quick. I think eBay is a great source because old shoemaking tools, if they are in a usable condition, are usually the best, I would say. Then there is also a few brands, like for example Minke in Germany, that make really good lasting pliers, for example, also other tools. There's also some Asian manufacturers now, but I can't say anything about it. I haven't tried their tools. Then go check out on Instagram. The profile is called Shoemakers Toolmakers. It's a really nice guy from the UK. He sells old shoemaking tools that are refurbished. I think he refurbishes them himself, and that's also a good source. But I think if you want to find good shoemaking tools, go for good old tools rather than new ones, I would say, because they're usually nicer, as long as they're not completely worn out and all that. Yeah. All right. I hope I could help you with this answer, but it's a challenge for every shoemaker, especially when you're starting. It's
interesting when you talk tools with shoemakers. It's it's a really a segment that you are frustrated and passionate about. I would say.
That's true. But then once you found the setup that you work with, that you're happy with, I think then the frustration kind of goes away, and then there's only your passion for collecting, if you're into collecting. And but at the beginning, if you are really depending on certain things and you want to find it, it can be a struggle for sure. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's see what else have we got. For Jesper, this one. So Jesper, if your house was on fire, which pair of shoes would you rescue?
I have this very heavy glass cabinet.
Yeah.
I wish I could like pull them out both straight away, but I guess I wouldn't be able to. I usually say, I think that I mean, of course, you really love a lot of your shoes for different reasons and for different occasions, but I would probably say that my absolute favorite pair would be from Yohei Fukuda. I call it like a special Adelaide. It's with sort of angled Adelaide and floating medallion, like a medium brown crust leather, which I really, Fukuda's last shapes and designs are just exactly my taste in every regard. So it's he was for a long time my holy grail shoes. Now I'm really fortunate to have a bunch of pairs and really enjoy his shoes. And that pair is my sort of favorite. I often tend to, when I don't know what to wear, sort of goes towards that shelf automatically often.
Okay. All right. Let's see the next one.
To what degree can manufacturing be technified and still be considered bespoke? Greetings from Mexico.
Wow, we're really specific questions this time.
Jesper, do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean,
it's that's also a word that is very difficult to because the thing is that if you would go fully with what bespoke mean, it would be rather narrow, I guess. But it's sort of tended to change direction through the years. But looking at shoes and the last shapes, which are, I think, I mean, if you have made to order, then you do the models in whichever way you like. You can specify that either with set parameters or very free, but that's still made to order if you have the base last. Then you have made to measure, which is when you start to add things on these base lasts. So I guess then bespoke would be when you actually make a personal last for the customer's feet. And if that's made by how that's made shouldn't really matter in terms of when you use the word bespoke, I guess. If that's how I would put it.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I would fully agree. For me, bespoke means that it's a custom designed last which is made from scratch, not a standard last which is slightly modified. I mean, I would say you can also see it. If I would see a last now, I'm pretty sure I can tell you if it's ready to wear or bespoke. Just the overall proportions. And another question is, let's say, the human factor. So you could also discuss how much of personal interaction need to be required. I would say for me it's really just about the last. But I also know some people who say it also needs to be some interaction with the craftsman, which I would not say necessarily. However, I would also never say that what we are doing is the same what you are doing, for example. And there is still a difference between traditional handmade bespoke shoes and things like we are doing.
But if you exclude the term handmade in this, and you only really speak about bespoke, I think I would also agree that it's really just up to the last. Once the last is made specifically for you, with all your measurements, the shape for you, everything, then you could call it bespoke, I think. But all right, it's a tricky question. We're getting really tricky questions this time. Okay, let's see. I think
one final question we can do, or two.
Can we do one more?
Two more
questions. Okay. Yes, but this one is for you. How many shoes do you have in your collection?
Like I mentioned, I think I had 30 pairs 1.5 years ago, and I think I sold off a couple there, but then I gathered quite a few new. I also started doing some more reviews now when I sort of had the backlog worked on. So I have a few of those. So maybe 40 at the moment.
Okay.
Something like that. But I probably, I think that I'll be around 25, 30 pairs or something like that. That's what I sort of feel that I actually use.
Yeah.
And I'd rather sell off shoes that I don't use so that they come to someone who really can enjoy them. I mean, it's awesome materials, awesome craftsmanship. They don't deserve to sit on a shelf somewhere. So then I'd rather sell them off to someone who would use them the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But currently, I think it's like 40 pairs. If we only talk
quite reasonable number, though.
Dress shoes or quality shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it depends on who you talk to. Some people really don't think that it's reasonable. But some would say that it's very very small collection.
Yeah.
So it's all relative.
You're gonna leave some room for the future, then. Right?
Do you have your own room for your shoes?
No, I have like a hallway where you go through. You have like washing machine room and all that in the hallway, and you go into the garage. So it's like hallway, like a corridor or something, a small, very small corridor where I have like glass cabinets along the wall.
Nice.
I used to have them like under the stair. It was terrible. You didn't see the shoes at all, and you have to like sort of crawl in to get them out.
Okay.
So much better solution now.
Cool.
Now I have it the way I want it to be, so to speak.
Okay. All right. The last question from the community.
How do you shine the heels?
Okay.
Do you like when they are mirror shined?
All right. Okay. Well, the way shoemakers polish the heels when they make a shoe is that they use a hot iron and then they melt the wax on the heel and then they polish it with a cotton cloth and some polish as well. But that's a bit difficult to do yourself at home. So if you want a mirror shine on your heels, I think you can just do it the same way you would do it on the toes, on the heel here, on the upper of the shoe. You can just apply polish and bring it to a mirror shine. I would say it's.
I mean,
straightforward.
I just did it on my pair here, shine the heel. I think I really dislike when you see these shoes that are really nicely shined, but they sort of neglected the edge, the sole edge and the heel totally. It's not that often, but you see it sometimes, and then you get like the chills because it's adds so much for the whole shoe, I think. And also, I mean, this is layers of leather. They need to
exactly, and it's
protected as well.
I usually use a mirror shine, a mirror gloss. I just apply a thick layer around the welt, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then if you polish it.
Exactly. Then you've got the wax there, you've got the shine, and you've got the protection for the bottoms of the shoe. So I think if you want to but the question was, do you like when they are mirror shined? I have to say, well,
yes.
Okay, that's a pretty clear yes from Jesper. I think for new shoes, it's definitely a must. And I also like to put some polish on the shoes when I polish the shoe. I don't always have to bring it to a mirror shine, but I just want to have the feeling that it's protected, because otherwise just the leather gets damaged over time from wearing if you don't apply polish there. And Okay, well, I think that was all the questions we received from the community. Well, thank you all so much for sending all these questions to us. And I think that was the second episode.
Yes,
Milad, what do you think? It was a big pleasure, Jesper, to speak with you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be joining you guys.
Thank you very much.
On the things that we love the most. So
exactly. And for all of